Hi, this is 365801 and this is my second video, so part 2 of my 30 and 30 for April 2023. Doesn't that look good? I've got some fresh cut strawberries, they're supposed to be like donut holes, but then they cover them and stuff and then they put jam in them, strawberry jam. So they're just mini donuts, right? They're just mini jam donuts. Anyway, they're supposed to be called like dots or something anyway. And then I've got some peanut butter pretzels because they're delicious. And a little Yorkie that's raisin and biscuit. So yeah, it's obviously that time of the month probably that I'm like, give me all the sweet treats. I need all the sweet treats. I've been really good recently in terms of like not eating lots of things. I have a wee cup of tea as well. So trying not to overeat. And also trying to have lots of fiber and stuff in, so hopefully making me feel a bit better. But still, I was very tired the last couple of days. So anyway, here is my TBR-esque. I want to read the second volume of Birds of Shangri-La. I didn't get round to my reread of Twittering Birds in the first part. So I definitely want to do a reread of that. Like I said before, I read this in January, but it was like a really quick read and it kind of flew by, and I don't really remember everything. So I feel like I need to go back and read it again and take my time, and that's something that I I definitely want to do for this because yeah, Twittering Birds is great. Then I've got this series, and I think there's only the 3 volumes, so I could read the whole series, which is great, and get a series started and finished. If it's any good, I honestly have no idea. I have no idea. I have never read a Cassandra Clare in my life. I just know of her. And the things I know, I wish I didn't. Anyway, this wonderful season with you. I would like to read the physical version. I have the digital. I have read the digital. I read it last year. It was one of my 12 and 12 that Dylan recommended. So I'm really pleased to have the physical so I can do a reread of it. Then I've got Boy Meets Maria. Everyone has warned me. I have girded my loins. I am ready for pain. I'm ready for Spain with it, the S. And then the last one there is Dekoboko, Sugar Days and Bittersweet Days. And there's a couple of digital extras that I might pick up from Amazon as well, just because I like having, completionist tendencies that I have. So that's kind of my TBR for the next 10 days. But as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to get maybe one of these elevated into the 10th spot. I don't know. I might choose something else. We shall have to see. I could start something. I could start something that I've been putting off. Hitorijime. I could give that out a read. But then it's like do I want to? Like, there's still volumes coming out. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to read other than this. So that's probably what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So if that interests you, you can stick around. So yeah, I'm going to have this though, and maybe start something. And then because it's sweet, I might start with the Dekoboko, just because, well, Birds of Shangri-La is kind of smexy. It's kind of smexy. I might need to do a wee quick squizzle of volume 1 just to remind myself of what was going on, if it ended on a cliffhanger, that kind of thing, because it's been a while since I read it. But this one is just starting a new thing, so I could just start with something new. I think that might be the way to go, especially when I've got something sweet and delicious to eat. I'm going to enjoy myself. So it's been a little while. I have now finished reading Dekoboko Sugar Days and Dekoboko Bittersweet Days by Atsuko Yusin. I have also purchased both of the digital titles. They're very small little shorts and they are pretty pricey for the length that they are, but because I have just decided that this is super cute. This is super cute. I needed a bit more of Rui and is it Yuichiro is his older brother. This story is super cute. It's very reminiscent, actually, of Stay Close to Me by Yaya Sakuragi that I just recently read, because it is about, someone who was super cute and soft and lovely, growing up to be very tall and being friends with the shorter guy. It's like the same story, and it's also, he's very homely and he's very much of a homemaker. But I really did enjoy this one. It's funny how, like, there's so many very similar stories in BL. Is there anything new? Is there ever anything new? But this is a really cute one. This is a really sweet one. I already had, I think, the second volume, Bittersweet Days, digitally. So having these both physically is quite nice, and being able to read them all with this extra, with the extras, it's just nice. And it's just been a really great time, completely immersed with these characters for as long as the 2 volumes and the 2 extras. It's super cute, super sweet, and it's just their relationship as they go from childhood friends who were enamored with each other since the day they met, to a very, very lovely conclusion to the second volume. Absolutely wonderful. I cannot. Oh, it's so sweet. I've got diabetes now. Everyone did say that this was a really cute, sweet story, and that it was definitely worth reading, and people got really excited about it. So yeah, I'm happy that I was able to read this one. I don't know what I'm going to read next, but I might just carry on with Atsuko Yusen and read the one that I've got. It's downstairs at the moment, so I don't have it. And just carry on with that. It's kind of bedtime though. I should probably go to bed, so that might be tomorrow's read. But this was definitely worth reading. Highly recommend Dekoboko Sugar Days and Dekoboko Bittersweet Days. It was one of those ones that every time I saw it was so expensive. They were always £13. Like it was almost never reduced down to less than £10, and that's kind of like quite expensive for these ones. I can kind of see why though. They're very chunky, very thick. And a lot of story. Still a lot of story in these. So yeah, definitely give this one a wee whirl if you're interested. Atsuko Yusen, I think, can do no wrong. It's so cute. So yeah, I think I might read some more. So I have now finished This Wonderful Season with You by Atsuko Yusen. It's super cute. It's super cute. I really do like this mangaka's work. It's just lovely. This is a really cute one about enoki, which is also the name of a mushroom, which is kind of ironic because they're supposed to be in a computer club where they're supposed to be like a mushroom garden. It was funny, and it's about him kind of getting along with this normie, Shirataki, who was like a baseball player, and he's looking for reason and purpose in his life, and he ends up kind of stumbling on this club and this beautiful boy when he takes off his glasses because otherwise this is what he looks like. I think one of my favorite characters is one of the other members of the computing club. These are the two. This is was it Ao something like that. And Yudofu, this boy here. He will take pot shots at the president of the club at every opportunity. He's so cute and so funny. I just love him so much. There's one particular moment I have to show you if I can, where Yudofu just makes the best. Doing that sort of thing with another boy. How shameless! You can see just woo, enjoying himself so much. What a great little dynamic. This is what was so nice about it. It was just it was super wholesome. It was super, super wholesome. This is a super wholesome one, and I'd forgotten how nice it was, so I'm glad that I got to reread it again, physically. But it's mixiness at the end. They're just super, super cute. This is a lovely, lovely one. I am probably going to read something else now. And recover from dental surgery because I've had I've had to wait a while to actually record this because I didn't want to speak just in case I was in pain. But I actually wasn't. I had great dental surgery, so I want to say thanks to my dentist who did it. So thanks for that. I'm still recovering, but it was great, and they were very gentle with me. So thank you to the dentist. Right, I'm going to get something else. I don't know what to read next, though. Okay, so I think I will do a reread of this one next, and then I think I will try and I want to read it, and I also don't want to read it. But this is a new purchase, and I want to read my new purchases, even if it's going to hurt my soul to do it. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to read this one next. I also have this little package that arrived, and I thought I would just try and see if I can open it. And see what I got. It's obviously not a book. Ta-da! Here it is. Ta-da! It is Watford School of Magics. So it's a bag for the Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. And I just thought, oh, that's so cute. And it was only a few pounds, so I'm very happy to have it. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, it's only a couple pounds. So yeah, it's a nice one. You can do on both sides. Just a wee extra. So yeah, these are the next ones I'm going to read. But this one was really good. So I have finished Twittering Birds Never Fly Volume 7 by Yana Dacombe. This is technically a reread, but I did take my time and just enjoy it again and take on board a lot more of the plot and the different characters, because this is the start of like the second part of this story, and oh, that was a great scene. So yeah, I remember reading it the first time when I got it in January, but it was very quick and it was like I devour. And I don't think I took on board as much as I needed to, because there is a lot going on with what's happened, because it's a 4-year gap, and then you've got all these different characters that you've got to kind of get caught back up on, like where are they in their life, and then you've got these new characters and how they've been slotted into the story, and yeah, it was good. I'm really glad that I took my time to read this again. I know I read it at the end of January, but so yeah, because I remember someone talking about this, like I don't know, the alligator, the crocodile, I don't know which one it is, and someone mentioned it, and I was like, I don't remember this, so I knew I needed to go back and read this again, because I had no memory of that. So yeah, this was good. It's a really interesting series. I know there's a lot of people who don't enjoy it and don't like it, because it is quite dark and it is quite a slow burn. The slowest of slow burns. I mean, when did the first one come out? I don't remember. But it's very much a story of the fans from when it's first started are still fans. You know, people read it with scanlations back in the day, and now you can have a copy, and it's great. It's one of those ones that I think people didn't think would get a translation, and then when we did, it was from June Manga, so unfortunately we have to take that. I do think that they're doing an okay job of putting these out, because they know they're going to make money from this. It's all the other stuff that they're you know, not doing brilliantly with, but with these they're like, okay, this is our money maker. This is like where we're getting the revenue from. So, and that's because there's diehard fans. Because newer fans, I think younger fans, like, I don't know, like people who were born when the first volume came out in Japanese, they're maybe picking this up and going, what? Because I don't think it was that, I don't know, like 2009 maybe, I don't know when it was, 2010, I don't know, something like that. But yeah, people who are younger are like, what is this, you know, why is this got such a cult following? People who haven't picked it up from the very beginning probably do not have that same attachment and affection for this series that all us old geezers who've been there from the beginning on the Yoneda Ko journey of, oh my god, she's amazing. So yeah, I'm really glad that we're getting this and that we will continue to get this. I love them, and I'm so excited about the new chapters getting talked about on Twitter. Oh, the tattoo! Oh! Drives me nuts, but I'm also super excited. So yeah, I'm glad I got to read this. I was going to read Boy Meets Maria, but you know what? I think I might go for the Internal Devices. Because this one scares me. I'm not going to lie, it scares me. I feel like I'm going to feel some feelings, and I'm not sure if I want to feel them. So I might go for this one, in which I will also feel feelings, but I'm not too sure what to feel them. But in a completely different way. I guess it's going to be my first Cassandra Clare, although it doesn't feel like it because it's technically like a Korean manhwa adaptation, then translated into English. It's such a convoluted way of reading something. But yeah, I think I would like to, because it's the 3 volumes, it's a complete set, and it's supposed to be quite good. I also have some things to show you, because I forgot to show, because they were still in my bag from when I went to go get my dental surgery. I popped into the town and did a couple of just a little shop, but not a big shop. So I'll show you what I've got. So I closed the blinds because, well, I haven't completely closed them. I tilted them up the way. It's the things that you learn. When my family came over, some of my family members were tilting the blinds up the way because they're wooden ones, and closing it up, and I was like, just stop doing that. Blinds go down. But actually, when you close them up the way, when the sunlight hits them, it bounces off and projects back into the room, up onto the ceiling, which is white, which illuminates your room without having the lines of light. But if you close them down the way, it bounces down to the ground and you don't get that same reflection of light. So there's a wee tip for you from the family. Oh yeah, this is the first one I want to show you. This is Stuart Turton's The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I know it's like the 7.5 Deaths somewhere else in America, maybe. It's a pretty beat up copy. There was so many. There was absolutely loads of paperback, fancy newish titles that I could have got for like 50p, a pound. This one was £2. It was a bit expensive, but I did read a Stuart Turton recently. That were like really new ones or fairly new ones. That I just was like, nah, because I have so many and I want to go through the ones and get rid of them and take them back to the charity shop once I've read them. So yeah, I've got another one to read. This has got mixed reviews, and so I'm not sure if I want to read it now. I do want to read it, but yeah, it's an interesting one. So these are the new things I got. This is from The Works. I love The Works. So first off, I got a nice diary for 50p. So it looks quite good. I just like having, this one's quite a nice one. And it's, you know, April now, so it's only half useful. Then I got Glitterland by Alexis Hall. So I was really surprised to see this for £5 in The Works, but I haven't read it before. I know they're all going to get new covers over the next few years, so I'll pop into The Works and see if I can get a complete set eventually. But yeah, for £5, I'm quite happy about that. And the other one I got was Cemetery Boys. I've been meaning to read this for such a long time, and another one for £5. I thought that was quite good. I don't know. You could maybe get them cheaper somewhere else, but I think for £5 it's pretty good. That's quite dense. Where is that? Oh, that's actually not bad. This looks quite small and dense. There's quite a lot of story packed into this little paperback. I have a digital copy of Aidan Thomas's newer work that I got on NetGalley, and I still haven't completed it yet. So, and this one, which I have digitally, but all that's left in the world. This is gorgeous. It was only £3. £3, but look at the lovely cover. Look at that. I mean, I know that there's another cover that's a yellow cover, but I really like this one. And I love that. This one has a normal, slightly matte finish. Slightly matte, slightly, so you can see, has a mix. This one has that weird, but quite enjoyable, slightly velvety feeling. And this one is just smooth, but with the indentations. Ooh, such lovely feels. It's the sensations that I like. So yeah, I ended up buying £13.50. I got some good stuff. So yeah, this is my little goodies, my wee haul. I didn't mean to, but there you go. There you go. It's a bit more expensive than a charity shop, but happy to have these because I do want to read this one. Everyone says it's quite good. So, and yeah, I've like a digital copy of this, but I haven't read it yet. And then this one, which I have no idea what it's about, but it's Alexis Hall. We'll see. We shall see. mixed reviews on Alexis Hall. So there you go. My little haul for the day that I got dental surgery. I needed to spend something. So anyway, I will carry on and check in with you when I've read some more of probably the internal devices. Let's go with that one. So I was calling it internal devices. It's infernal devices. Like duh. This has actually taken me quite a while to read, and I've been distracted very easily by many other things. Because it's boring. It's not that it's boring as such, it's just not a very well told story, and I don't think the story itself is particularly interesting either. So there's that. I don't want to be negative about Hye Kyung Baek, but you can tell this is an adaptation of a written novel, and not necessarily in the best way. It's very clunky and bitty, and I mean sometimes you'll get nice images like that kind of thing, but that's the chapter art. It's very blocky. It's very much, it feels more like a comic than Asian manga, really. That kind of style, you sometimes get pages like this, but on the whole it's very much like panel. So I don't think it's a terrible job of adaptation, but I just think it feels very much like an adaptation, and therefore it doesn't have flow. So the pacing seems choppy, stop and start. A lot of dialogue, and I don't care. The art style as well, like the character design stuff, isn't really to my taste either. So I'm like, there's a lot that I'm not enjoying, which is probably why it's taken me such a long time. I have also probably been eating things that have made me... I have fallen asleep reading this book 3 times. So I've gone like, okay, I'm just going to sit and have a wee read. And I got to like here and fell asleep. And I got here and fell asleep. And I got to... No, it wasn't. It was even this page. I got to here and fell asleep. I've just woken up and read the last couple pages because I read about this much. And then just was like blunk. So I think I've been eating some things that have been having that negative effect on me, which hasn't helped. But I think if this was a thinner book, because it's actually chunky boy, um, that I would have had it read already. And now let's talk about the actual like dialogue. Ugh, it's so bad. And I know this must be like original dialogue from the book because, well, I don't know, has it gone into translation and then come back over? It seems like that would be a waste of time for translation purposes. But it's not great. I'm not enjoying this. I'm kind of glad that I'm reading this in this format though, because I'd hate to have read the book. Well, I probably wouldn't have. And I don't care too much about the characters. So, but I have 2 more books to go and I'm gonna read them. I have purchased this and I got it for the bargain price of 40p. And for that, it's worth it. For 40p, I'm like, okay, cool. I got this for 40p and it's perfectly fine and serviceable. I mean, in terms of the actual story, because that's what I really should be reviewing at this moment in time, it's confusing and like the main the main character is someone who has like powers but didn't know they had powers, which is very chunibyo, you know? If you know, you know. Chunibyo. This feels very chunibyo. Yeah. Let's have 2 gorgeous guys. And also the guy who was supposed to be like the main bad guy, I was like really close to the beginning. I was like, oh, so he's the bad guy. Oh, well, it's him. It's him. It's that guy. It's that guy over there. Not him, but I don't want to give the game away. But I was like, I think that's the bad guy. Anyway, I will continue reading this. I have 2 more volumes to go. I will get it done. I just might need to go and get a coffee just now, and it's already like 7:30 in the evening. But with the way that the changes are going, it's still bright out. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Spring is amazing. I think I'm feeling spring so hard this year. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it more than I've ever felt it before. Feels great. Spring is great. But yeah, so I'm gonna get some like coffee or something. Probably eat something. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's not gonna make me fall asleep too bad. And then carry on with this. I would just want to get it done now. I just want to get them read. So I might read the next volume and check in, or I might read 2 and then check in with you guys, because I have read a lot of other things in the meantime that were not my purchases. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna just get it done. That's how I'm feeling about Cassandra Clare and the Infernal Devices. Sorry if you love this, but this is just get it done mentality. Okay, so I've finished the Infernal Devices Clockwork Prince. This is volume 2. My god, this is long, isn't it? Oh, I just want it to be over. I want it to be over. It is quite nice colour images at front. I don't think I showed the other ones. And you get a bit of it in colour before it goes into the story. This particular volume kind of feels like one of those books where the status quo is the same at the start and at the end, and yet there's all this plot, the stuff happening, and it kind of feels though that there was like, well, what was the point? Because the status quo is just maintained in the main plot thread that's running throughout the book. And the main plot for this book is that at the start, this is it, right at the start, the person who's in charge, Charlotte, of the London Institute that they all live in, is said to be incompetent and must prove that she is capable and that those people who are at the institute are capable of running it. And then all the stuff happens. 2 weeks later, it's fine and it's almost identical. It's fine, and she is still going to be the head of the institute. So in that particular story thread, the status quo is the status quo, still there. There's other things going on with the like interpersonal relationships and all that kind of palaver, and what about this? And there's a few revelations in terms of certain characters. So I guess the status quo doesn't remain the same for every character, but the main plot point, the main thread of this particular volume was exactly the same. I mean, I'm pretty sure every character has undergone a lot of changes, but in terms of the actual plot, not so much. But I will continue and I will read volume 3 because I bought it, and I will read it in the year that I bought it. So yeah, volume 3, but I'm going to go have something to eat now. I think I have some sausages, and I have some little rolls or something, some nice bread. I can't say I'm enjoying it. I'm reading it because I feel like I need to read it, but I'm not really enjoying it. In terms of BL, it was alluded to that there might be some BL-ness going on. I'm assuming it would be between Will and Jem, for me anyway. But then you find out how they're connected. But then this dude here, what's his name? Magnus? Is he a warlock? Man, he's sexy, isn't he? He's kind of sexy. I do think the drawing of Magnus, just the design of him, is just lovely. And it reminds me of... I actually have the book up above. I wonder if I've got it. Wait here. I got it. This is it. I knew I had. Well, I have some of these. I read this back in 2009 because this version of Laurel K. Hamilton's Guilty Pleasures, this is the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter novel. This headline edition with the red covers started being printed. So this was a reprint back in 2009. So that's when I first read this. This particular volume, not the case, because I got this from British Heart Foundation as a charity store for £2. I don't date vampires, I kill them. But this was originally written in 1993? 1993? I think so. It'll say, here we go. 1993, yeah, see? But this one was 2009. And I got the first time I found this was for £3, so it was not even that much. Brand new in a Tesco bargain bin. And I needed something to read when I was visiting. I thought, I don't have anything. And, it was like before... I want to say it was like before the internet. It wasn't before the internet, but it was before like the huge, massive smartphones and stuff like that. I got a smartphone like, I don't know, 6 months after I bought the book. My life changed forever, as did everyone else's. But the main character, Anita Blake, falls in love with I can't even remember his name. What was his name? God, I want to read them all, but I want to collect all of them in this red form before I reread them. I can't remember. Jean-Claude? Is it Jean-Claude? I don't know. Is it Jean-Claude? Is that his name? Anyway, the main vampire in this, in my mind, this is what he looks like. Gorgeous. So reading this, I can't help but be like, oh, give us this guy. Give us more of this guy. This guy is great. I love him. because I love this character. I didn't actually particularly enjoy the whole series. I did read almost all of it, but what was being published or what I could get my hands on. But I have, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have four of these that I've picked up from charity shops. So I could go out and buy them, but I don't want to. My goal is to find them in charity shops and purchase them in charity shops. That's my goal, to get them secondhand, because they exist in the world, so I may as well. Anyway, when I'm reading this, I'm kind of a bit bored, if I'm honest. There's a definite, like, the love triangle that isn't really a love triangle because it's a love corner, but if they were going to make it a proper love triangle with Will and Jem and Tessa, then I would be fine with that, because, you know, polyamorous, great, love it. But give me more of this. Look at that face. Oof. So yeah, he's a fun character in just for me to look at, because in my mind he's this character as well. They're pretty much the same character. Anyway, I'm gonna go get something to eat and move on to volume 3. Please let it end. One volume, that's it. But they're chunky. They're chunky and there's so much plot and nothing ever happens. I'm not enjoying myself. Give me some BL or just go. That's it. There's the door. Out you go. Anyway, something to eat. Yay! I finished them. So yeah, I finally finished The Infernal Devices. This one, volume 3, Clockwork Princess. And did I hate it? No, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it though. It just felt contrived. It's kind of, and I was so bored. So it wasn't a great reading experience. It just, this particular one had lots of letters involved, and I was like, oh god. Ugh. And it was so melodramatic. And the way that it ended, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's actually interested. But I guess. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's, I don't know how to feel about this other than I'm glad I'm finished. Not that I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I'm finished. And Magnus is apparently still alive. It was just really bored. I mean, I'm yawning again. This is like the 5th or 6th yawn in about, I don't know, an hour. I just keep yawning because I'm having to read through this. Thank God it's finished. Thank the gods. It's finally over. And I can say I've read all 3 volumes. I don't know how I feel about, like, I liked, the art style is fine. It's not 100% to my taste, but it was perfectly fine. And it felt very much like very rushed at the end. I don't know if that's how the book is, but it's certainly how this adaptation is. Very rushed at the end. And then all of the different ways that it oh, I know. And some things just never get explained. So I'm like, kind of plot holes from the offset. Yeah. So yeah, I can't say I'm a huge fan of the Infernal Devices, but I'm also a little bit disappointed because someone, I won't say who, insinuated that there might be some, you know, a little bit of male-male romance. I don't see it. I liked Magnus. He was cool. I liked the 2 main male leads. Great. I didn't find Tessa completely obnoxiously annoying, although she certainly was a little bit. No, no. It was a love corner rather than a love triangle. Although they both had an immense amount of affection for each other, which I thought was lovely. And I guess polyamorous relationships was not something that they considered, which is a shame because that would solve all their problems. Although the way that it ended, I'm like, well, yeah, of course. But also, anyway, I'm done. I'm finished. I'm ready to move on. I'm glad I got these three out of the way. I have a couple more I think I need to read, and then I think that'll be 10. That'll be good. But I need some food now. Again, I need to eat. I need to replenish my stocks. I might have some pizza. Something like that. Anyway, I need something. I got a bit distracted in the middle of reading this and ended up on eBay, and I think that just shows if it's not even enough to stop me from buying something in the middle of it, like this book is so boring, let me buy another book. I also started an audiobook as well. I'm just like, ugh. And I don't even want to listen to that audiobook. I'm also bored of that audiobook. I'm feeling very much like, ugh, give me some webcomics. I'm feeling my webcomic. I'm in my webcomic era, like massively. I'm reading so many and loving them, and not necessarily enjoying the manga and the male romance as much at this precise moment in time. I need things that give me joy. Spark joy! This was not it. This was not it. Anyway, so that's my review. The Infernal Devices did not spark any joy. There you go. So I have finished Boy Meets Maria by Peyo. This is a 7 Seas one. It felt like no one had ever read this. It was so tight. It's still tight. So, this is a really, actually interesting one because I was so nervous about reading it. I was so apprehensive. I think because so many people have talked about it and saying how it's so emotional that I really did kind of build up in my own mind, and it wasn't it wasn't quite so like traumatic as I thought it was going to. Yes, it has some things inside it that is definitely requiring of a content and trigger warning for sure, 100%. You know, sexual assault of a child is a big thing, so please do check trigger and content warnings, because yes. But you know, I'm an old lady who's been a BL fan for a long time, so I've read a heck of a lot of stuff. So in my mind, I was like, well, if it's so bad that everyone keeps going on about it, God, it must be really, really bad. But I had to think about it in my scale of things that I have read before. And in that case, it's not actually that bad. What I like about this, Boy Meets Maria, is actually how hopeful and uplifting it is. So I expected to go into this and come out of it absolutely distraught and in full depression mode and thinking, okay, are you going to be okay? Is your glass heart going to be all right? So actually coming out of this story thinking, God, there's such lovely characters. I'm so happy that the ending is the ending that we have. It feels hopeful, it feels positive, it feels like yes, the once again I'm saying two characters, maybe go get some counseling. Go get some therapy. But also it felt like they worked through a lot of their issues so that by the time they get to the end of this volume, they feel a lot healthier as individuals than they were at the start. The artwork is lovely. I really do like it. The characters are really engaging. Taiga wants to be an actor, to become a hero, because he really liked the Tiger Mask series when he was younger, and also because he associates being a hero with being a protector of women and girls, and being something that his mother would have liked. And then we have Arima, who has been brought up as a girl during elementary school, then something traumatic happens, and they then have to live the rest of their life as a boy, but because they have lived both genders, they find it difficult to understand themselves, and that's where there's a lot of self-exploration. And these two end up meeting, and with their meeting comes the real catalyst of addressing trauma in both of their past lives, their childhood, and it does end in an incredibly hopeful way, which was completely not what I expected because of the way that everyone had said. That's so traumatic. I actually really enjoyed it. I feel like I have read this kind of story before, though, and that's something that, you know, because like I say, I've read so much, and I definitely have read so many scanlations in my time. 100%, and hold my hands up, I have in the past. So I feel like I've read a story like this before, but not done in the same way. There is something to be said about the way society has moved on so massively, with so much still to be done, obviously. But this is the kind of story that, like I said, I feel like I read it maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but not done in the same way. Like, it might have the same story beats and the same story points in the plot. It might have someone who's grappling with their gender. It might have someone who was forced to dress as the opposite gender when they were younger. It might have someone who wants to become a hero because of past trauma. These are all things that I've read before. But the way that this is so deftly and tenderly and empathetically deals with these issues could only really be a modern work, because of the way that the social consciousness of gender and sexuality, and how it's not a set fixed thing, and that it is on a spectrum, that you can be a man but you don't owe anyone masculinity. You can be a woman, you don't owe anyone femininity. What it means to live your life in a body or within clothes that might not fit who you are, but might. And that's the thing, being both, being neither, all of these kinds of issues. And I think this is what is so great about this work. And so I feel like people reading this who haven't read the absolute, haven't been in the trenches and haven't read these stories, but without that tenderness, without that social consciousness that you can draw on, that's part of our everyday life now compared to 20 years ago, that the author themselves wouldn't necessarily draw on, because it might not be their lived experience, well, it can't be their lived experience, because if you were living 20 years ago, I mean, that's the thing we say about so many mangaka, that they might write a story like this, but it won't be a story like this, because the time that they're writing is completely different, and the social consciousness of gender and sexuality is so very different. And so even if they were someone who was grappling with their own gender, their own sexuality within their body, the societal structure around them is so alien compared to now that they could never produce a work like this. And that's my point. This work is of its time, and its time is now. It's a modern work. And even though we might come across works with similar themes from 20 years ago, it's only able to be explored in this way because it's being created now. Of course, I looked up Peo, who is I'm not sure which gender, because we do have a family saying what gender they are, and then the gender that they put for Peo versus their actual legal name. So yeah, Peo unfortunately had passed away in 2020, and so this is, other than the work that they were working on at the time of their death, which may get may also get published in English, we don't know. But it is, I think, 2 or 3 volumes. So this is the only thing we have from Pale at this moment in time. And I think it's beautiful, and I think it's lovely. And I think there was a point in it I was like, oh, okay, this is where this is going. I do enjoy this. This was a nice one. And it's such a pleasant surprise because I thought I was going to hate it. But this has actually been a really pleasant surprise. And a lovely story, actually. So much more than what people were making me think it was. I still haven't done this one. So this still has its plastic on, so I need to read. I might reread the last couple of chapters of Birds of Shangri-La Volume 1, so I'm up to date. But I also have a stack of these. So Book Depository had announced that they are going under. They're not under yet. You can still order things. And when I went on their site, they had reduced some things in price massively. So I may have purchased a few things. How about we just open this one? I don't know if I want to open these yet. But yeah, so obviously I'm going to have some things for the end of April. I'm going to have a haul. I have at least 4 things. I have some more things. I've had some visitors over. And so I did get some things from the charity shop as well. It is what it is. Yeah, I guess we're having an April haul. Even though this was supposed to be a no-buy month. We're having it. It's happening. Let's open this one then. Okay, I like this one because it actually tells you where to. The other one's a little bit trickier. I think I know what this is. Oh, I do. Yay! Oh! So I've got Seaside Stranger Volume 1. Ube no Etange. 7 Seas. Ki Kana. I couldn't quite remember. So when I went on the Book Depository site, they had a few things that were reduced down to £6 or £7, and I'm like, that's great. That's my target. For purchasing. That's my target price. And they had Seaside Stranger, and they also had another one. So that's probably what's in the other ones. But I couldn't remember what volumes I'd actually put in, because I was just like, these are really expensive most of the time. The 7 Seas are generally a little bit more expensive. But this one was only £6 or £7, and that's a lot more reasonably priced than well over £10. It's almost always over £10, 11 to 15, something like that. So yeah, £7 is really good. I'll have to check to see the exact price, but it now means I have a volume 1. Yay! So I can start this series, which is good. And I couldn't remember. I was like, how many volumes are there in this series? I need to make my wee lists of things. Is it like 4 or 5? But yeah, that's great. So I've got Seaside Stranger Volume 1, which I could read after Birds of Shangri-La. Ooh, should I? Should I do it? Just read the thing before wow, get me. Should I just read it? It's Volume 1. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I do want to get all of them. I mean, obviously I want to get all of them, but I do want to read them all, because I have watched the animation and it's gorgeous and beautiful, and I loved it. And I'd like to read and then compare and contrast. I have read this already digitally because it was available. Was it on Renta? So, but having a physical copy, I was like, it's a volume 2, so I can't be able to read it. I honestly thought that's what it was, but no, it's a volume 1. Yes, I can read you. So yeah, but first of all, I will read this one because I've had this for a little longer. So yeah, and that'll probably be it. That'll be 10, right? Won't it? That'll be 10. Anyway, we'll get stuck into this first. Okay, it has been a little while, a day, 2, I don't know. Everything on my table is still the same, except I have now read, and I was only going to read a couple of chapters, but I have actually just reread the whole volume of Birds of Shangri-La Volume 1, and then taken the plastic off of this, and bought volume 2 and had a wee read of it. I got this for a really good deal, and then this morning when I was trying not to spend money and then spend money, I found it for a cheaper price. You can see the cut's not perfect. I do think Viz publications are not as like spot on as say Seven Seas, and certainly not Kuma. Like their quality is not. Even Tokyo Pop seems to have quite good quality now. So I do think there's just the odd little thing like that, which doesn't really bother me too much because you can see it on the side. But this is just offset slightly, like it's like maybe 1.5 millimeters. Here it's probably 2 millimeters. Just those little things. I'm so pedantic, aren't I? I'm also eating marshmallow. Chamallow. Yeah, so marshmallow. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, I haven't had marshmallows in ages, so it's been like just a wee sweet treat rather than having like a chocolate biscuit or something more substantial. Also, I finished my coffee this morning, and all I had left in my cupboard was very old decaf, which is disgusting, and even cheaper coffee, which is not very nice either, but I might have to have some. I usually buy, this is more information than you need in your life, but I usually buy quite cheap coffee because I like weak coffee, so very mild and weak coffee, and I have it quite milky. That's how I have mine, and sweet. I'm like, yeah, 100% a child when it comes to coffee. That's fine, 100%. I will own up to that. Real coffee, like brewed, no thank you. Give me that instant grind and make it gold so that it's very mild. So yeah, I think I just get like the shop own brand little kind, and like a big jar of it so that it lasts a month. If it's just me drinking it. Anyway, so Birds of Shangri-La with this interesting, can't actually show you too much. This is such a great and interesting story. I remember being really apprehensive about reading the first volume and then really loving it and being so intrigued and having that sense of mystery as to the background of characters and what's going on, and also this like brewing tension of the weight of feelings, both sexual and emotional, between the two main characters, as you can see them when you turn it over. He's on the back of that one. Phi, and Apollo. And in the second volume, you get a lot more of what's going on. You get a lot more of their background, and it does get a little bit spicier. It's pretty spicy. I mean, it's pretty spicy. It gets a little spicier, and also it gets a lot deeper. There's a lot more of the backstory, and it ends on a bit of a kind of moment. I think the synopsis on the back kind of does give you most of that anyway. I don't think this is necessarily a plot story. It's definitely a vibe story. I mean, I didn't think of myself as the kind of person who's like, I just read it for the vibes, but Birds of Shangri-La is a vibe. And I feel like I'm reading it for the vibes. It makes me feel like, yes, summer holidays and tropical islands and warm breezes and cool drinks, and yeah, it's a sense of decadence that I, as a taurine, I like a lot. So yeah, Birds of Shangri-La, very happy. But it does mean that I did read this as a reread, so I can put it on my pile. Here I have my pile, and then I can add this. So technically, I did read 10 volumes. So Dekoboko Sugar Days, and then Dekoboko Bittersweet Days by Atsuko Yusin. This Wonderful Season with You, Atsuko Yusin, which was a reread but not as a physical, was a reread as a digital. Then Twittering Birds Never Fly, which was technically a reread because I did read it earlier this year, but it felt like a reading for the first time. I was like, where did that crocodile come from? Jesus. And then the Infernal Devices, I kept saying internal devices, I don't think that's correct. Infernal Devices 1, 2, and 3, which I can't say was my favourite thing to read this year. Is it going to go on the worst lists? You know, I just have completed and finally uploaded all of my reviews of the year. I've just been like having them as and when. And I wonder which one this would go on. Disappointing? It's not a DNF. I finished it. Yay! Surprising, but not in a good way. Disappointing. Overhyped. I don't think anyone hyped this up. And just worst books. The worst reads. Probably. It's the worst so far. If I did like a I should probably do that. I should probably do like first third of the year, like a review at the end of April. If I do like a review of the year so far, what books would I put in which categories? I think that might help me if I start doing that now, actually. And then I can thank my past self. Boy Meets Maria, which was one that I was, just like Birds of Shangri-La, I was very apprehensive about, but for different reasons. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult, and it wasn't. And then Birds of Shangri-La with a reread and a new one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But actually, with the Dekoboko Sugar Days, I purchased the 2 digital extras as well. So I actually read a lot. And also, I'm telling you this now, I'm reading much more than this. The 1330, I already did it. I've already done it. I've read so many things this month. It's ridiculous. And manga as well. I've been doing other things. Guys, I've been reading so much. Keep getting it, I blame the Infernal Devices. I swear, I read like a whole vlog's worth of manga whilst I was reading these 3 vlogs. I filmed it. It just needs to be edited. I've got another one on the go that I was finishing off. I really, honestly, this was great for productivity because I was like, I didn't know what to read this. But it does mean I've got 10 volumes here, physical, which was the point. Not to purchase more, but I did. But yeah, so this can go to my other pile. In fact, I can put my other pile. Can I pull this? I don't know if I can pull this. There we go. Here we go. I mean, so far, 1330 is doing really well, and it's a great bunch that I've read. But the whole point was, for me, 1330 was to read what I had purchased this year so far. And in terms of manga, that leaves his favourite volume 11, Monochrome Factor 2, 3, and 4, and Ten Dance volume 2. Now, if I read Ten Dance Volume 2, I'm going to need to read Volume 1. And if I read Volume 1 and then Volume 2, I'm going to need to read the rest of it. But I don't have Volume 6. See these calculations that I have to do in my mind? Monochrome Factor, I have Volume 1 that I purchased in December, and then these 3. And that is everything that was published. Although I think there was a 5th volume in Japanese. Thanks, old Tokipop. Thanks again. And then there's his favourite, Volume 11, but I wanted to read, and I got Volume 12, so Volume 11 was the one to fill in the gap. So now I have Volume 11 and Volume 12, which means I think I have all of his, I think I brought up his favourite to read as a big reread, because I haven't read these 2 volumes, but I know I've read volumes 1 to 10 at least once, but I think I've only read them once. So I wanted to do a big reread of his favourite. Maybe as a buddy read, I don't know if someone wanted to buddy read his favourite with me. But the other thing that's happening in the last 10 days of April is Bizarre and Marguerite's Manga is doing a one-shot. And I do have some like one-shots that have the word secret in it here that I'm planning on reading for another vlog, maybe just a Patreon only vlog, with buzzwords. But I also have this, so I could use this to choose one-shots. Wait, what are the dates for it? Is it the 23rd to the 29th? Something like that. And so we're not quite there yet, so it's not started yet. And then I could pick out ones that are lies and kisses, you know, that are one-shots. And if I get one that isn't a one-shot, I don't need to read it. I love, oh God, I would hate to pick out that one-shot. Stick that back in there. So I have this, but also, of course, I have a pile of things that need to get opened and read. So I would like to read Seaside Stranger because it's a volume 1, but maybe not on the one-shot days. So I definitely need to read some one-shots, just not I Love Forbidden Love. Oh my God, dual brand, no thank you. You Don't Know Me. Oh, I could definitely read that. That's a one-shot. So that's my point. So I could use this bowl as a means of getting through my physical TBR. I still have some to add from my new tub. And a lot of them I could read for buzzwords and then get a lot of the buzzwords ticked off. That would be good too. So I don't know what my plans are for the next 10 days, except I'm continuing to read for my buddy read with Katie as well. So yeah, lots of reading is happening, even though I'm supposed to be doing other things. Anyway, so this is what I've done. Pretty good. Happy about that. So far for the 1330. Oh dear. It's not... I don't know. Guys, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be reading next. But you will see. It'll be something or a part of or all of the above. Yeah. But hopefully you enjoyed this one so far. Hopefully you found something you're interested in picking up. And also remember, Book Depository is closing down soon. You can keep on getting orders until the 25th or 26th, I think, of April. And some of the prices have gone down on things. So I'm going to keep a wee close eye out. I did spot something this morning and it's usually like £15 and it's down to £8. And I'm like, that's a good buy. So I'm really, see this is my no buy April. There it goes. That's out in the bin. When I say that I went on a shopping spree this morning online, oh dear. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a haul video at the end of April as well. I also need to take pictures of this and put it up on social media. I haven't been doing that. I've been very lax. So yeah, there's a few of these that I need to put up on social media. Whoops. Never mind. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, I'd like to say thanks to the hosts. I know that Shay's not been having the best time of it, so sending my warm regards to Shay. Hopefully she's feeling better. Lots of love to Shay, Izzy, Bree and Ashley. Hope you're all doing great and hope you're enjoying your 1330. Thanks for hosting. I hope everyone else is enjoying their 1330 and getting their physical manga TBR down, which is the whole point of this, and it's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot, even if Infernal Devices. I don't blame it's Cassandra Clare's fault. Honestly, I read so much for her because of this. So good. So yeah, productivity is kind of interesting. Anyway, hope you've had a good time watching this. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the 300 subscribers. That's amazing. I'm so pleased that 300 people have chosen to subscribe. That is amazing. Thank you so much for putting up with me. Take care, everyone. I will see you in the next video. Definitely another 10 volumes for 1330. Take care. Bye.